So here at the bottom of our big baking sheet, we're starting off with 2 packages of the Philadelphia Original Cream Cheese. Right on top here, I got some farfalle pasta. This is the bow tie pasta. So this is just gonna sit right on top of that cream cheese. This dinner that we're making is so delicious. It feeds a lot of people and it's gonna be all in one, so we don't have to do a lot of dishes. So next, go ahead and grab your marinara sauce of choice. I'm using the Prego Traditional. This one is so tasty. It is one of my favorites, and it's usually on sale too, so that's a good thing. So we're just gonna pour this all the way across, and then do not throw away this empty bottle. We're gonna fill it with some chicken broth. This is just gonna help everything cook as well as get the rest of the excess off. So here I'm just gonna pour, I'm not gonna pour the whole thing, but maybe just about half should be good. And then we can put the lid on and then just shake it all up and make sure that we get all of that awesome sauce that's in this jar. So once you have this all set, we're gonna come in with some garlic. And you can throw as much or as little as you want. I really love garlic, so I'm gonna do 2 big spoonfuls. You know what, maybe 2.5, because you know what, I need this dish to be really garlicky. It is just so tasty. So once we have these in, we're just gonna give it an initial stir. We're not worried about over mixing it too much, just because we are gonna stick this into the oven. I just wanna make sure that we get some of the garlic and the marinara sauce spread out. So once you have this all set, it's time to season. So we're gonna come in with the tried and true, the Italian seasoning. Go ahead and be a little heavy-handed with this. This is gonna give it so much flavor. We do have a lot of pasta, so we wanna make sure it's well seasoned. Next, we're gonna come in with some black pepper. And then last but not least, this is like a little secret ingredient, some onion powder. It just elevates all the flavors that we have inside. Ooh, this is looking so tasty already. So before we throw this into the oven, I like doing some cheddar jack cheese. We are going to be doing some more cheese on top, but just a little bit of this, just to kind of get it a little bit extra cheesy, is perfect. So go ahead and throw 2 big handfuls. And at this point, we are going to give it one more stir around just to make sure that all of the seasonings get nice and mixed in together. The seasonings and then the cheese as well. And then before this goes into the oven, we are going to be throwing some Italian sausage. So you can do Italian sausage, you can do ground beef, or you can do chicken. But I feel like the Italian sausage just tastes the best. It is a little bit spicy, and then it is a little bit salty as well. Since we didn't add any salt, this is really gonna help out a bunch. So once we have this all set, this is gonna go into a 375-degree oven for about 30 minutes. This thing is nice and heavy. So it was in the oven for about 20 minutes, and now we can go ahead and mix everything up. So at this point, we mainly just want to get the cream cheese all mixed up because it was sitting in the middle. But you can see that since we added that extra cheese, it is just so creamy. So go ahead and take a minute and just make sure you get everything nice and incorporated. And I'm telling you, the smell that comes out of this is just heaven. I feel like I'm in a nice Italian restaurant, and I am so ready to dig in. So one last step before we get to dig in, you just want to make sure that you flatten everything out. You can see that we have this nice and creamy sauce, which is exactly what we want. And then for the last finishing touch, you cannot have this meal without mozzarella cheese. So this is just going to sit right on top, and then we are going to stick this back into the oven for a little bit so we can get this nice and cheesy layer. Ooh, I just love topping my dishes off with mozzarella cheese so much. And just spread it out with your fingers. Just make sure you get a nice and even coating. This is a big dish, so we've got to make sure that we spread it out evenly. So I'm going to stick this in for about another 15 minutes. We can finally eat. So you see why we needed that mozzarella layer on top. It just makes it look so appetizing. And then for a little touch, we're going to be doing some Italian herbs right on top. So this is what's really going to bring it to life, especially if you're bringing this over to a potluck. And you see with just this little drizzle of the greens on top, it makes it look 10 times more appetizing. But for the moment of truth, and my favorite part is always gotta be the cheese pull. So we gotta find a nice, good spot, and I cannot wait to dig into this one. Nothing ever beats a nice little Italian meal. Be sure to get a bite of that Italian sausage. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. Oh. This is very dangerous, especially since we made so much, so be careful, but enjoy.